Hi, Ayushree. Ayushree, are you there?
Hi Priya.
Hi, Ayushree. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All good. All good. Where
So,
are you
we'll
based?
sorry?
Are you based in Delhi?
I'm based in Bangalore, Priya.
In Bangalore. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm in Delhi. I'm,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Nice. So your network seems fine to me now. Akhil was mentioning there was some issue
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll just, in case there's any issue, just let us know before so that we'll
Sure. Sure. Sure.
see how to go about that.
Sure.
So we'll just wait another 2 to 3 minutes, Priya,
Done.
for
Let's
Shikha
do it.
and Ami to join, and
Yeah.
then we'll start.
All right.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Shikha to join. So we'll just start shortly.
What about Ami? Is she there?
No, she both. We are just waiting for them to join. They will be joining backstage. So my colleague is just checking with them.
All right.
It must be really cold in Delhi, right now.
Very, very, especially
Actually,
the last couple of days.
yes, I have. We were just talking to a few friends yesterday. They were like, they are taking a lot of blankets and all,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Just
they're
see
just
the layers. I
yes,
mean, it's never been that cold in Delhi. I've now been here for a
yes.
couple of years, but
Oh, is it?
the coldest.
Okay.
It's been the
Yeah,
coldest.
because Bangalore, I think it's always almost the same throughout
Yeah,
the year.
yeah.
It
Always
just so
pleasant weather.
so we don't get that extreme cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the places now is like facing that. Priya, I'll just quickly check with Shikha.
Sure, sure.
Just give me a minute, please.
Yeah. No
Hi,
issues.
Ayushree.
Hi,
So, yeah,
Shikha. I
Hi,
was
hi.
just telling Priya I'll check with you.
when I was just figuring
Back.
out some
Yeah, yeah.
chords and everything. So,
So,
Ami is there?
no, she hasn't joined yet. So let me
Okay.
just check with her quickly. Meanwhile, you just start. Maybe I'll just check with Amy. Just give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I can start because we're already live. So, Priya,
Exactly. Exactly.
so nice to see you again. I just recently met you, but it's always really nice to see you. And because you deal as a business with so many teenagers, and also you have teenagers, so there was no more better guest than you to come on
Mhm.
for this discussion. So thank you for coming in. And why don't you introduce yourself? I think Ayushi generally does this, but
Yes,
maybe
no,
Ayushi.
I'll go ahead and do it,
Yeah,
Shikha, because what I'll do is I think while we wait for Amy to join,
right.
I'll just introduce the session, welcome everyone, and then we'll just
Yes,
hand
let's
it
do
over
that.
to you.
Let's do that.
Yes. So a very good evening, everyone, and a very happy New Year to all. Happy to you, Shikha and Priya, too.
Thanks.
And we had started this show back in collaboration with Mothers United Movement, led by Shikha in 2023, and very happy to be continuing this while we start 2024. In fact, this is the first webinar Vidphone is hosting in 2024. So hopefully, we'll do a lot more together in the coming year, Shikha, collaborate and take this forward. So today our topic is mothers of teenagers, and we are very happy to have Priya Wadhawan and Ami Sheth Doshi with us. Ami would also join us shortly. Before I move on, I would like to tell a little bit about Vidphone. So Ami has joined us. Hi, Ami. I was just, welcoming everyone and introducing the session. So before we move ahead, I just want to tell a little bit about what we do at Vidphone and then go on to introduce the speakers and then hand it over to Shikha to take it from there. So at Vidphone, we are a hybrid work platform where we help you get your customers, get more revenues and really create an entire customer journey right on our platform using video communication tools. So we say that through our platform, you don't have to really juggle between multiple tools. Anything a business needs to start and scale, you get it in our platform basically. And so that is what we do. And obviously 10% of what we do is this live streaming, which you can see right here, which is our webinar platform. And very happy to host you all on Vidphone today. And now moving on, we have two wonderful moms with us today, and we are going to talk on the topic of mothers of teenagers. So we have Priya Wadhawan, who's the founder and co-partner of iGrasp, news channel for tweens. Priya, please correct me if I haven't pronounced it right.
Multi-grasp. That's the right pronunciation. Yeah.
Yes. And so thank you, Priya, for joining us and taking your time out today. And we really look forward to hearing your story. Our next mother is Ami Seth Doshi, and she's a parenting coach, a handwriting analyst, and a sound healer. So this is what we generally read out from your bios. But then Shikha is here, who knows both of you, and during the session we are I'm sure we'll find a lot more about what you do as moms and otherwise. So Shikha, over to you, and to tell maybe a little bit about Mothers United Movement for whoever is viewing us live. So I would also like to tell all of you that we are live now on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So a lot more people are like viewing us live right now while we are live at Vidphone. So over to you, Shikha, and thank you, Priya and Ami. Look forward to the conversation.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Ayush.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, Mothers United Movement, both of them are part of the book and part of my life in some or the other way. So, many mothers in the Mothers United Movement were part of my life and have become part of my life and will be becoming part of my life. Few of them who are new in the whole book. Because the journey is just not stopping. It's so I'm very honored to keep meeting them again and again. I'm not done with them because they're just such incredible mothers who are rolling and doing such great stuff that I'm not. People just keep asking me, what about the new 100 mothers? That I'm not done with these 100. So it's an honor to bring you both together. Priya has never met Ami. Ami never met Priya. Delhi and Bangalore, both of them are from. But you guys are in the same book. Find each other in the book and get to know each other. So having said that, Mothers United Movement has just launched a book year and a half, 2 years, a year and a half back, and we had 100 inspiring stories of moms in that from all over the world, and mothers came to India from different parts of the world to launch it. It was quite an epic launch, knowing that we all met on social media and mothers came from different parts of the world just to tell their story. And not only that, the 3 days that they spent here, it was a deep immersion in emotionally releasing many things. We had a run going on. We had a movie of a mother's story shown, special needs children helped, many alignment exercises being done. And in the end, the launch happened, which gave goosebumps to many people, not here, who are watching live across as well, because mothers just came to tell their story for 2 minutes on the stage and took the courage to tell the stories, which was not even in the book, and changed it last minute. So I'm very proud of being given this by universe to get these stories out and through them inspiring many mothers. So that's a very short thing about mom. I can go on for 6 hours on that. So Priya and Ami, thank you so much for coming here. Priya, of course, both of you are with teenager moms. So we will have three questions from me, and in the end, Ayushree will ask. I'm generally very eager, so I generally ask her question only because I just get carried away. So I'll try and give her question back to her today and make sure that I don't get carried away there. So first question, let's introduce ourselves and our teenage kids. We're going to make sure that we are talking only positive about the teenagers here because I think too much negative has been spoken about teenagers. And when they see these repetition or these repeats, they're like, ah, here they go again talking about what the problem of teenage thing is. So we will try and address our questions so that when teenagers watch this, they know that we're very proud of them and they'll be really looking forward to hand over our next generation, a lot of great things in the future. So first, let's introduce ourselves, Priya, and then Ami, and then we'll take it you as a mother of teenager mom first, and then how have both of you worked? Both of you have worked with children in different spaces, So just a little bit about your work and how you work with children, and then I'll take it from there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Shikha, once again. And thanks, Ayushi. And hi, Ami. Uh, it's great to be on a platform like this. I mean, knowing Shikha, her enthusiasm always amazes us how she does this every day of the year, I think. It's amazing. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, yes, I'm a mom, a proud mom of three teenagers. So I have a house full of teenagers. I have a daughter and twin boys, so equally represented. So I know both sides of the story and what goes on in a teenage mind. It's a very interesting phase of this whole cycle. And professionally, I was with Ernst and Young for the longest time. I was with them for a decade. I was in the human capital division, management consultant, and looked at assessments, org structuring, and was there in different offices across the country and even in the US. And Delhi was my last stop. And when my daughter was born, and Aika, that's her name, I consciously took this decision and no regrets that I would move away from the corporate world and give her the undiluted attention. We had our kids late, so this was a very conscious decision that both me and Ashok made. And then the boys came along very quickly, 22 months apart, literally. So I had triplets and taking care of them the first 5 years. The total diaper changing phase was a very challenging and a very demanding. But, you move out of one phase and then you move into another. Since the topic of today is teenagers and moms, I think I'm at that threshold because my daughter is now 15 plus and my boys are 13 plus. So they are adults now, I think this whole thing, and especially the fact that I run this news channel, which is for tweens. Uh, you got to handle them very differently and very preciously because they have a mind, they have an opinion of their own, and they are adults in their own way. So well, that's a little bit about me and my children. And my venture is called iGrasp, which is an acronym for I Get Ready and Always Step Up. And how this started was when four of us met, four of us, all mothers. That's what we have in common. And we had children of around the same age group, and we felt passionately about the fact that our children were growing up in an environment where there was no news channel or a news outlet for current affairs for children. Like we have about 18 to 25 news channels in Hindi or in English, but nothing which has been curated and specifically designed for children. So that's how we started this venture. So we have Gayatri Luthra, Ruchi, and Shikha, three moms from different schools who came together 4 years back. It's a self-funded, bootstrapped assignment that we ventured into. And what we attempt to do is come out with two episodes in English, and it's a bilingual episodes in Hindi and in English. We keep it short because audiences are teenagers and they have a limited attention span, and this is released on Sundays, and it's only positive curated news. Like Shika said, teenagers have this issue with the negative news, but unless today's whatever whichever news channel you put on, it's negative, it's a war, it's a rape that they're talking about. There's nothing which has been curated for these teenagers. So that's where we felt we'll make a difference, and that's how we've started this venture. And we now have anchors from all over the world. We have 1,200 anchors, and it's anchored by children. Yeah, I forgot to mention that's the uniqueness of our program, that it's anchored by children. So we have a tie-up with a lot of schools who kind of release this episode every Sunday. We have a tie-up with about 150 schools currently, and it's very interesting dealing with children from the north. The children are different, from the south they are different, and yet they are similar.
Yeah.
So we kind of experience all of that, and yeah, as we go along, would love to share all of
Yeah.
that.
It's fabulous. And the Shikha she's talking about is not me. I'm not one of her partners. It's the common name, just clarifying it. I would have loved to. This is just a beautiful venture. I'm very proud of what she's done, and they have the channel. I will talk more. I, there's always one side we definitely want to, have all the positive talk about teenagers, but there's always a little pause while we are talking because we still don't understand them, and we're just like trying to use our words very carefully. I'm a preteen mother. I'm going to hit there as well. My niece has. So when I try to talk to her, suddenly from this fast talking girl, it becomes a very slow, thoughtful words being weaved in a way so that I can put it in the best possible way to them. So I like that part about all of us. You will see this. I don't know whether you've noticed or not, but when we are talking about teenagers, we all slow down quite a bit to think and speak. So Ami's turn. Ami has teenagers as well, two daughters, and let's hear her speaking about teenagers and what's happening as a mom. And she's done too much around children as well. Just unbelievable.
Thank you, Shikha. Thank you. I mean, when you called, it was an opportunity. Okay, I need to do this. If Shikha is calling, there is something which is coming up. So we can never say no to Shikha. So I think that's where we are here, and I would love to know more about what Priya is doing because it's really inspiring to see how this whole space evolves around teenagers,
Right.
Talking about myself, yeah, I have two daughters, one entering the adulthood now very soon. So when I was telling her today that, I'm going on a show and, this is about teenagers and I'm going to talk about them. So she told me, I'm an adult soon. So please don't talk about me. You have another one who is a teenager. So, the younger one, yes, both of them, I have seen myself growing more with them rather than, they growing up. Because I feel with every phase of their life and every day, a lot of conversations, a lot of understanding, a lot of my own emotions, go up and down, and how to balance each one of them with, your own work front or your own ways of your own life. I think that's the growth, or that's the journey that I have been on, and I've seen some amazing results with them. And I would say a lot of learning, because nowadays I've seen both of them having their own perspectives about life, own opinions, and very strong. Certain things are very strong in them, which I feel that at my age, when I was a teenager, I did not have that. So I feel that they have created their own identity, and I feel कि, in this world, if you're able to do that, I think you'll go a long way. So that is something which I take it from them. As a career wise or anything, if I look at, yes, I started my journey when my, the older one, when Dia was born, and it's been now 17 plus years that been into the parenting phase. And did a lot of gaming part of it, gamification, where I used to play with her, and started my own library. And now I feel we've gone beyond that in terms of how I play games, and how we understand kids through games, basically. So just recently, where on the New Year's Eve, I was playing with my daughter, and I realized that, okay, each the way now she is growing up, or now, at a teenage, at a 12 and a 13-year-old, how she's playing or how she thinks through a game was so fascinating. And that was an eye opener for me. And I think, yeah, now dealing with a lot of special needs kids through sound healing and through frequency therapy. So we work with a lot of autistic or dyslexia, and kids going through a lot of their relationship challenges or anything. So we have seen some amazing results with frequency therapy with them. So I feel that is also evolving, as and when we see what challenges are coming up in our own kids, and we see that, okay, how can we work on them. So yeah, that's where I am.
So I must say this about Ami is when she told me she's a play therapist, I was so fascinated. I was like, wow, that's like something she actually is was practicing play therapist for a very long time. And I just think we need more of play therapists than anything else for kids to grow up. So that's hats off to you, to constantly keep working on how to make the communication better in a way that they grow. And I've photographed her family as well, and I've known her daughters, and I've seen them very young. I recently just met them; they just shot up so like, suddenly, and I was just like, wow, they've grown up so much. So both of them, just for the audience to know, have so much work done with children. Priya also working with children all the time, and three kids and two kids together, both have teenagers. So my next question is that let's just, if we were talking to teenagers, if we were right now, if teenagers were our audience, not the audience people who are dealing with teenagers, if teenagers were the audience, what is it that we can tell them in forgetting how we were as teenagers, or forgetting how it was 20 years back? As a parent today, as a guide today, if we need to tell something to our teenagers, that this is exactly, their ups and downs and whatever, but we would like you to know that that's where we are seeing you like this, or this is what the word expectation is not there, but this is how we would like you to go ahead. And then we'll talk about what you think would the reaction be. So let's just see, if you were talking to teenagers, what would you like to say that to them, Priya?
So, I face this constantly because every week we have about 30 new kids that we
Right.
are looking at. They're
Right.
not someone, few we repeat as anchors, but there's always a new bunch coming up. And like I said, every child is a little bit, screen shy. He or she will take a while to get used to it. The eye connect, the voice modulations, you got to train them, and everything is being done online. So it's a little difficult. So you kind of witness their nervousness. You kind of interact with their parents and their mother, especially because normally it's the mothers who help in the recording. And that's where we realize that the mothers play a very important role, even if they are teenagers. Very few of them actually record on their own. It's still their mothers, right up to till about 15 also, where the mothers recorded. So, we have a very important role as a mother, coming back to the topic, because here, although it's just a 2-minute script which they are narrating, but you can tell a lot about the child while going through that 1 week of experience with them, because how particular they are, how disciplined they are, whether they're taking feedback properly. Some are arrogant, some don't want to listen to the feedback. Some will just say that you're telling them to be dressed in a certain format. We have some guidelines which we need to abide by. Some schools, especially, one can say very comfortably down south, they're very particular about it. They'll follow it to the T. They'll ask you the question. There are some other schools, children, or different age groups who will say, "Yeah, we've read it," and then they've not read it. So you'll kind of experience, just like we experience with our children. We're doing that every week with a new set of children, and then you kind of see a trend amongst schools, amongst locations, and that talks about the kind of inputs they're getting from all over.
Right.
But yes, one thing one can be very sure, being a mom and being a partner of a news channel where the interaction is there from morning till evening, if you follow the top down approach and you're kind of talking to them from way up and giving them that gyan and those sessions, it won't work. It really doesn't work. At the same time, you can't become their friend or their pal. No, you've got to strike that balance and be able to give them examples. They kind of relate when it's not, that tone is very different. When you're giving them an experience which you have had or which another course student has had, then the acceptance level is much higher.
Right.
They, I feel, on an average, are a bunch of they are a little lost. I think this phase is such. It's not any particular child, but as a child going through this phase, they are lost. They are put through so much of stress. The social media puts the stress on them. Education, parents put that stress. The sibling rivalry, the sibling competition, comparison. So they are constantly under stress, I feel. So they don't wish, and they are able to press those buttons and get the worst out of you, as a parent or as a facilitator. But I think they are listening somewhere. They are listening, and in their catch memory, it goes. Like, for example, like I'm very particular, with my kids to I I try to encourage empathy in a big way, and I was very happy to see my son just last week had won a chess competition, and he had beaten a boy who was senior to him in rank, and he was feeling so sad for him, and he was able, because that other kid was upset about losing, and emotionally he had gotten upset. So I never expected my son to, not boast about what he had done or, be happy about that, but go down and kind of empathize. So these are things which, if you keep on narrating to them, I think somewhere it stays. It's just the way you tell them is very important, because otherwise they'll snap, they won't be in touch. And as a parent, and as a mother, I would urge everyone to not let that communication gap extend, because we're seeing that in many cases where the communication gap is not there, and from one day it becomes 1 week and 1 month, and then you put them on to therapist, you move the location. That's not really a solution. We need to introspect and we need to look back, and yes, it's, you have to be flexible all the time, like Shikha said, we are checking our tone, we are checking what we have to say, because they are extra sensitive, and you need to handle them very differently.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ami, you're handling a lot of people at the therapy level also, and at the level where they need to use a lot of your support for their health and for them, for their many things, emotions. So as Priya was just talking about the fact that that's how we need to build it, and um, it is a phase. It's they're lost, okay, but they think they are not lost. I feel that. I think they don't think they're lost. I think they're lost, but they think they're not lost. So we get all confused with their confidence, and the fact that we know in our instincts, and everything gets mixed up, and then suddenly we all are lost. Also, exactly what should we do with this whole thing? Are they lost? Are they not lost? Are they confident? They're not confident. Can they handle? Can they not handle? Because we're also coming out of that baby stage to a mother where they don't need us as much, but they still need us. So it's a very confusing stage for the parent as well, I feel. So when you deal with people coming for therapy, sound therapy, how do you first get their confidence in? Because your own child's confidence is so difficult. A child coming from outside saying that okay, you need sound therapy or you need to speak to a play therapist. How do you deal with that? What are the first two, three steps you take so that the child can sit down and say, okay, let me just hear her? Because I'm sure, especially for teenagers, to break through would be a task to
Yeah.
speak to.
So
Thank
what
you.
sorry, what I have seen is, the teenagers. I mean, I think any child now requires facts. They need to know the fact very clearly, that what is going to happen, why are we doing this, and what is the benefit of this. And somewhere they also need the assurance that I have come here, but I'm fine. Basically, they want to be known that they are fine and there is no problem, and it's okay. So that comfort, if we are able to give them, the trust that they build in us is much higher. So rather than, I mean, I have seen with, I think even my kids, or even, I mean, it took me a long while to even get here in terms of that communication, what, Shikha, you've been talking, that I was not so open even with my kids. I feel, okay, like a safe environment, you're giving them, a safety net, and it's okay. You don't need to share everything with them. But slowly I realized that they're still observing you. So even if you're not telling anything, they are observing you, the way you behave. So even if you're hiding, or even if you are, in a zone where, okay, I can tell them later, but they have seen it on your face, in your behavior, in the way you interact with somebody else in the house. They have seen that. So that time I actually realized that, why are we hiding, or what is it to even, shy away from that? Okay, there is a problem in me, I have a problem, or it is a breakdown situation for me. I am telling them that. And in fact, the same thing I started doing with, the kids who come to me for therapy. That, when we play a game or anything, it's not about competing, because they start with that, competition, that I have to win over this auntie, only then, I will prove myself, right? So at times they have lost, they have gained, and they have done very well. So those times I have seen that, when you give them a fact, and you give them a right tip at that time, that, this is where I see you losing your focus or getting distracted, or this is where you lost the game, they realize that, I was equally observant to them. Because that is where we actually miss out on, that being observant to their behaviors, not just what they are talking, but how they feel, what they are, and certain days that they feel that, okay, low. But we as moms or anything, we kind of, okay, you need to tell me what has happened, you need to, I'm we go behind them, that, I need to know everything. But I have realized that if you give them their space, they do come back and tell you what has happened, as we require our space. So at a therapy level, or at a mother level, I have seen that giving the facts at that time, what is required, is gaining their confidence, and that is where the trust comes in, and they do, go through the therapy at a much much easier way. And
Right.
they'll have to come back. That's important.
So with my personal example, I think last year when I was busy with this launch and everything, there was some things in Shaurya's mind which I could see, my older one, that is bothering him. It took me 10 months of just reading books to him and just sitting next to him for him to tell me for the first time on his own without me asking also, what is it exactly that was bothering him when the launch was happening.
Yeah.
So it took me almost like, to the extent that I was reading books to a 10-year-old. People would think that, like, people around me, they're like, are you serious? Like, you're going to sit and read these novels to him for like because he challenged me. He's like, do you have time to read 15 novels to me? Then I'll read the next 15. I was like, okay, I'll read. So one by one, these thick models every day, 45 minutes, sitting before sleeping, reading the book to him without expectation of what will come out of it. I only knew that a connect will definitely come out of it. Never knew that I will actually get everything out 10 months later. Very late, had to be very patient to do it, but then everything got aligned. So when you're saying they come back to you, it was not necessarily they'll come back to you now. They might not, or they might come like 5 years from now, exactly what was bothering them. So I think where I'm a mother of a preteen, but when what I'm seeing with teenagers, because I have a niece I'm in love with, I have a nephew I'm really in love with, and when I talk to them, I'm using the approach, the fact that you take your time, like it doesn't have to be now, as long as you're safe, as
Yeah.
long as you know that you're emotionally able to deal with it, good, bad, whatever. If that safety net is provided to them, I think they get through it themselves or through our help. And that's why it's very difficult for a teenager mother to see that should I let go, should I stay there. I hear these news in the thing all the time, their reactions, suddenly they're agitated. Now I can see this, my instincts. It is a very confusing state. That's why it's a very important topic to talk today. That itself puts a lot of pressure on mental health of our mother, this teenager phase that they're trying to go through. And with the information overload, I think we're just headed to another level of because the facts that you're talking about, they're actually thrown back at us immediately. That what you think, I have a counter fact here. This is it. This is it. This is a fact. This is a fact. What do you know about it? Your time was different. Our time was different. So do you guys both? So going back to Priya, do you feel that this kind of a pressure as a mother sometimes comes on you to take the fact that I need to understand them, I need to let go of it, I need to hold on to this? What do I do? Is it on the daily basis, or you think that you pretty much sorted it out within yourself for them? Because when you're talking to many mothers who are right now going to be listening to it, thinking that am I going through it or not? So that's why both of you are on the spotlight to really tell us what's happening, so that many mothers can relate and get inspired through this show, because we're going to be sharing a lot of snippets out of it.
So I think as a mother, like you said, we always have to talk with examples, because if you're just giving statements of, someone saying so, it doesn't relate. But when you say, Papa did this and he had this problem and this is how we overcame it, or Mama had this challenge, then they're at least listening, at least they have your attention for some time when they're about 12 or 13. By the time they're 15, for that same story, they're obviously going to give you a different response. I know, I heard that story.
Yeah.
I've heard that. But it's very interesting that when they narrate it to their friends who are going through similar situations, they narrate it. This is how my mom handled this particular thing. So they're listening. That is very, very clear that they are listening. They may not agree with it. They may not agree in person, but they are listening. So you have to be very careful of what you are telling them and the message you are giving. I think as a message to mothers and parents in general, we have to be, I think, very aware, especially for parents who have more than one kid. Um, this is the age where exams have started coming, results have started coming, they are performing in competitions. So the fact that there will be differences in siblings, in performances of siblings. And I think from whatever, like when I see a lot of sisters and brothers on the show, and each of them is different. Everyone have their own strength, but how we deal with it as a parent is something which we need to really focus on, because I've seen set of parents who are very indulgent with the first child, second child they don't have the time, they've gone back to their careers. So that balance is very important, and the child is absorbing all of this. There is also a set of children who have always been performers, and the third child or the second child is struggling, is very good, but not there, not still there, not that A plus plus. So you have a set of teenagers who are they have performed, they've done well, but they haven't got that kind of appreciation because the older one has done way beyond them, or that constant expectation. So be watchful, be mindful of how we handle outcomes, how we respond to it. I always struggle. My kids, I have twin boys who are there in the same house, so to say, the school house also. They are competing for the same position very often, for that same quiz competition from a Bhanu house, or so it's competition from home right from the beginning. And nowadays we have so many twins. So the message there for twin mothers or for twin parents is that let them be. They all will uh, bloom and blossom at their appropriate stage, and may not be in the same sport, may not be in the same grade also. They'll take their time. But I think we as parents need to be a little more patient, definitely, and more mindful of what we are saying to who, because they are listening very
Right.
clearly. That's something which I have learned. So one has to be very, very particular. Like I said, the sibling differences has to be ironed out. And I think as parents, we are as a community getting busy. So that family time, that time to spend together, watching that movie together. We do, a lot of mothers do all of that till they're 10. And after 10, there is that fatigue which sets in. And,
Right.
and that's it. They want to get back to their life. They want, and it's natural, it happens. But a teenager needs the parents the most at that phase, and they get lonely. They need someone to talk to, and that's when they get into different companies. And so we have to be very mindful that we can't let go. 10 years I've done my duty, and now I'm over. They're not listening to me. They have their set of friends. Yes, they do, but they always need their parents. So
Right.
we have to find that connect and that 1 hour family time every 4 days or so, that family dinner, even if you don't agree on the table on many issues. But you got to keep that going. You can't let go. And I've seen a lot of parents letting go, and I think they feel lonely, though they have so many social friends and so many followers. But they still need that shoulder to cry on and someone to be that bouncing board for them. So they're
I,
never grown up for that. Yeah.
I like the fact that you use that by the 10 out of 10 you're fatigued. I think that's something which is a very important point to know, that thanks to the nuclear family systems and that have come in, and no extended families and villages around to help, it's actually hits a fatigue by the time you're 10. And um, if you're a younger child, like I have a 6 years difference, you don't have the same amount to give. And like for me, I'm 10 and 4. So by the time I'm dealing with a teenage, my boy is still very young to be dealing with his issues. And probably, so it's a very good point that you made, to be very mindful that there's a second one right there, and they're different. And and that is fatiguing. I must say that, to be very mindful of the fact that they are different, and then trying to be two different mothers to do different things, that itself is very fatiguing. And you have twins. I've always looked up to you. How you three such close age groups, you might be three different mothers to all three of them, and it's hats off to you that you do that with such a big smile. And then you brought so many more children in your life through that channel. So Ami, let's take a little different question from you. That um, let's because you're into the space of therapy, and then I'll hand it over, because I this is a very interesting topic. I can go on this topic really a lot. But I mean, let's one more question that I wanted to ask was that, now that a lot of exposure on what we are hearing is vaping is happening, there are a lot of concerns that are happening, but at the same time there are two things that are happening that I'm watching, because I'm just very curious. Is that consciousness is increasing as well on one level, and information load is increasing as well on the teenagers. And the words that we are talking in 40s, today I'm 42, consciousness, mindfulness, they're already talking. They know what it is, what mindfulness is, what consciousness is, what all that. So all that they know sometimes better. I mean, I hear it and I'm just like, wow, you already know that at the age of 13, 14, 15, when I hear my nephews and niece talk. But then there is a lot of information load, and then there's a fear of the mother right there, of listening Even if she doesn't try to listen to it, somewhere it will seep in and come in, and the information is so much. There's babying happening, there's this happening, there's some kahin se seep in ho jata hai. So when you deal with the mother, do you deal with the mother separately? Do you deal with the child separately? Do you deal with them, both of them together? And how much of it, as a therapist, do you process yourself and then say, okay, this part is just like not needed, and this is the only concentration part. So let's help the audience with trying to know that if a mother and a teenage child comes to you for sound therapy, for play therapy, for handwriting, whatever, how do you eliminate so much fear, information, and the knowledge of consciousness, and then talk to the table that this is a problem? How do we deal with that?
So what I have seen is that, when you try to prove your own self, that I am the therapist and I know it all, that is where you cut the cord. And that is what, as mothers, also at times we do. That, you don't know, I know it because of my age and experience, and everything that I have learned, and I'm in the field of this, and so I know more of mindfulness, and what do you know, kind of thing. So I have seen that if a child comes at their level, what they know, and we going to that level to understand how much they know, is very important, because they might just know a word, or they might just know a basic concept, but they don't know how to, maybe at times they don't know how to implement it, they don't know how to use that in their life. And even mothers get very scared that, oh, they are seeing videos, and they are doing some meditations, they're doing something, but I don't know what they are doing, you know so letting our own guards down is very important, is what I see. Because the minute I come from a space of I know it all, the child also comes in the same space that I also know it all, and you don't know anything, because we are the next Gen Z's, and we know everything more than you. So I have seen being at that level, and sometimes it is okay to even accept. I mean, so many kids that come to me have accepted, oh, I really didn't know this, and it is a very genuine thing that I tell them, that I don't know this, could you help me with it, because I have seen that learning that they come with is so much more. And the awareness that they come with, sometimes we don't know that perspective of that same word. For them, like, a mindfulness is very different from what a yoga mindfulness is, or
Right,
a meditative mindfulness is.
right.
So for them, even being on the phone or just watching a movie without no distraction is mindfulness.
Yeah.
But for us, we are like, oh my god, 4 hours, how is this child sitting and not doing anything, and not wondering, and not getting even bothered ki homework baki hai, so many pending tasks are there. But for them, that is mindfulness, that they are kind of really switching off everything, and they are just in that one zone. So I have got those learnings from my children who come to me, and I have seen that, everybody takes in a different form, and letting your guards down is very important. So I have zero expectations when they come, or they have an expectation, but I don't have an expectation. They're just coming, and we need to understand each other for some more time, and then the trust builds, and that is when they listen. So even if the mother says, okay, tell me what I need to do at home and all that, at times I tell them, just don't do anything, just let it be. Just be just be that's all. Sometimes they go offhand, but it's like 1 or 2 weeks, but then they come back also, because they know, okay, they themselves realize it. The kids themselves realize, okay, this is not working for me. So rather than we telling them, it's okay, I mean, I also see it's okay to let them fail at times. Even at that one failure, or one fall off, or one fallout that they have, there is a lesson to be learned. And I have always gone back and spoken to, the kids that come for therapy, or my own kids, that what did you learn from it? What is it that you can improve, so that you don't make the same mistake again, right? And I do it myself also, that okay, even with dealing with my own kids, I have learned something. Okay, next time, can I improve it? And I go back and tell them, okay, let's work it around, let's do this, right? I will make sure that I don't repeat this. So from their end also, they come back and tell me, okay. So there is always this two-way traffic that we have, and at therapy level or at home level, it is the same you, I would say. We cannot be the different compartmentalized moms or compartmentalized therapists, because it is just one. So
Yes.
I would say keep that one, even if it is a sibling or even if it is any child. If that you are integrated, you will see that everything comes back together.
Right. And again, you spotted something interesting. I was driving with my niece, and she was quiet. And these two, all the younger brothers were just constantly talking to her. They completely to me. She doesn't react to me ever. Every time she's sitting in the car, we are talking to her. She's not reacting. She doesn't want to say anything. She doesn't want to do something. So me being, I'm the older one because I'm always bombarded with children in my districts. I'm like, yeah, I think you can respond to them or talk to them. You can play with them. You can. Why don't you play some game with them? And they'll be. This is the opportunity of the drive that we are taking, and it's a great way to connect. And she turned around and she told me, I am meditating when I'm looking outside the car. So I said, okay. I looked at them. I was like, all of you keep quiet. She's meditating, because I was just like, what do you say to something like that? She's very clear that she's meditating when she's looking outside the class, and this is her time when somebody's driving her, and she is going, and that's her mindfulness. And she can have all the younger brothers nagging her or saying she's not responding because she's in a meditative state. So when you said that the mindfulness could be so different, I could be judging her, saying that she's being not
Arrogant, or yeah,
again not
that, yeah.
attending, thinking I'm a teenager and I don't want to talk to the younger one. But all she was saying is I'm meditating, and I'm just she was of course she's older now, but that's exactly what we need to know. So if and then you like I like all right, and at that time I backed off. I didn't just say this is not time to meditate. This is not the way to behave. This is relationships important. Brothers are a lecture, all that stuff. So it's like that your boundary is the front seat, and these people have to figure it out themselves. And even they backed off eventually, because then as an adult I had made the thing that nobody disturbs her, right? So that created a very good thing, and by the time she got down, she was all fine and she was in the zone and doing what uh, all
Yeah,
siblings do.
yeah.
So very, very important to understand, as you said, that what it is for them is totally different for us, and we put a lot of our fears and moralities and values and expectations and everything. And I also feel it's a very fear oriented. If we don't do this, this is how they will land up, and then if they don't, so I can it's on my bucket list to start a whole book on teenagers. So this topic is very, very dear to me. I'm not done with mothers yet. I don't know when I'll reach teenagers, but that's one on the list of my bucket list of books that are
The
coming.
fathers are also waiting. Remember that, Shikha?
I know. So everybody's asking about fathers. I think I'm just going
You're
to stick to
feeling very
mothers.
left out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to stick to mothers, then teenagers, and then if I have some time left and I'm not old, I'll come to fathers, because I think somebody else will have to take the charge of the fathers. The more I'm talking to mothers, and the more the kids are growing, I think really need to. A lot has been done in this space, but a lot has to be still done, and definitely fathers needs it. But okay, somebody else will put that in their journey and take it for them. A lot of people ask me, Priya, what about fathers? This is not fair. I say,
No, no, I remember the last time we met in Delhi also. All the
I,
fathers raised their hands and asked
so
whether we should
I
start a.
sat down and I realized I was like, I cannot take every angle, because then I'm not done with mothers. As I am also preteen mother, I have realized that I'm not done with motherhood. I need to just cross the motherhood to start talking about fathers and empathize with them. Right, I'm very empathetic towards mothers and compassionate and whatever I can do for them, and in awe also. Not only I'm in awe of the fathers who are supporting. There's a lot of support coming from fathers. There's no doubt. My father is waiting also that I'll talk to him someday. But first mothers, then teenagers. So thank you. I'm going to just take my backseat. Ayushi is going to ask her last question, but we are not done here. And you both have come up with some very valuable stuff. Um, the fatigue part I'm going to take back for sure. That because I'm exactly at the point you said at 10 years of fatigue. My child is 10 years old, and Ami talking about the perspective and the fact that there's so many things that we don't understand, so we need to put our guards down and talk to them and then learn from them. So Many other things were spoken, and we'll take snippets of that. To Ayushri, it's all yours, and you can take it from here. Start talking. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. I'm here only.
Thank you, Shikha. Thank you for beautifully hosting those and asking, I think, the very right questions. And thank you, Priya and Ami, for really touching such crucial points. Like Shikha was saying, listening to all you moms, I was just saying in my head, yes, yes, because I at this point I can just relate to me doing it to my mother, I think, and not the other way around. But still, it's always wonderful listening to you all, and I'm sure everyone who's viewing us live, or all of them who had joined us from the beginning of the session, thank you to all. Like Shikha said, the idea of the session is not just that we do this 1 hour and we are done. The idea is really to break what you have shared with us today from your journey, to break them into shorter snippets and pass it around, so that we can really outreach a lot more mothers, a lot more people who can really benefit. So for Shikha and me, we always say this on the show, that even if it can mean something to one mom out there, it's a win for us. And that is so. With that, we have spoken about a lot of things today, starting from your journeys, about your kids, the challenges. So I would just like to wind up with my last question by asking you both three tips that you have for mothers. And I want you to form those in such a way, that we can easily make a reel out of it, or a very short video out of these three tips, and really share it across as much as we can. So your three top tips, it need not be necessarily related to teenage moms. It can be, any mom that you want to say something to before we wind up today. So over to you, Priya, to start with, and then Ami will come to you.
The first tip, which I strongly feel, is we got to keep spending time. Like I said, they've never grown up for a mother, so you got to keep spending time with them in different forms, in different mediums, but you have to allocate that time for them. Yeah, that's one. Secondly, be flexible. Sometimes the stories they're going to come up with, or their experiences, or what their friends are doing, can scandalize you, definitely. But be flexible and pretend, oh yeah, I need to know more, because that's when you'll get to know the real story. If you behave very high-handedly, it's not going to get you anywhere. Like Ami also said, you got to take your guard off and pretend you don't know anything, and you are the one who's getting educated, and you don't know anything about it, and that's where you'll get your download, and the real download will come. Um, Thirdly, again, like I said, I see it uh, with a lot of parents. There is that sibling thing, which again, you handle them equally, and they are different. Never forget that, and never compare your kid with the other kid, because it gets deep rooted. I've seen many cases, so one should definitely avoid these three things, three blunders which one can make while we are parenting.
Yeah. No, thanks, Priya, and lovely pointers there. I'm sure it. We would love to put these out, and and these would benefit a lot more moms. Ami, over to you.
So, firstly, I would say have a very open and honest, constructive feedback going on between each other. It's okay to ask, okay, where did I falter, or what is it that I can improve? And either ways, it can be done. And if we start working on it, it's a very beautiful relationship that blooms out. The second one is about listening to them with full attention, because we have this habit of like, I know this, and this is the next thing that is going to come up, and I told you so, in the middle of their own conversation, we go, "Arey, I was telling you this," so we don't even listen to everything that they say. So being open to listen even to the very silliest thing that they want to share, because they come home with that excitement, and being there is very important. The third thing I say is, it's okay to apologize also, that I fumbled, I faltered, I did not know, or this was something that I really missed seeing. I feel it's okay to apologize and move on, and leave that behind and not take that forward in every other situation that comes up, and moving on with a very fresh slate every time. I think works wonders for all of us, because as we hold on to a lot of what our parents had done and all that, because that communication was never complete. But now, if we can complete it and clean that slate and move on, all of us kind of bring in a much better future and a much better relationship for us.
No, thanks a lot, Ami, for beautifully sharing those. And at this point, before I move on, a lot, few more people have joined us, but I think, in the interest of time, some had to leave. However, for the ones who are there, in any case you want to share anything, or have a question, I have also enabled the raise hand. You can use the raise hand button, or just put your comments, anything you want to tell Priya, Shikha, Rami, please feel free. So with that, I think Priya and Ami, thank you for really doing this for us, for coming into the show. And I think Shikha and me, both we would really request you that this is not the end of it. Please do reshare what we are going to post in the coming weeks. Please do, attend more of these sessions as moms while we are speaking to other moms. Do invite your mom friends, invite your networks, because the idea of this initiative is, not to just do these shows, but to take it beyond and see how we can really help these moms. In fact, as part of our goals, we also really want to, because all the moms we have invited over last 12 weeks, and even more, because we did a few sessions before. The idea is really to work with these moms even in their businesses, or for Shikha, even in how they can become, like, how, like, under Mothers United movement, they can work closely with Shikha to actually be able to express themselves, do this with us. We actually want to help, because being a mom is one thing, but all you moms are doing something, right? You guys are entrepreneurs, you guys are in the corporate world, so we feel there can be that connect, where we can actually help you go from 0 to 1, or from 1 onwards. So these are also the things that we want to be able to really impact through this show. And so, for in fact, this viewer link that all everyone is viewing us, that becomes the recorded link as soon as we exit the webinar. So you can share the same link with everyone, and they can record, they can view the entire recording. There they can also see a CTA button. We have put a call to action button, where where we are really announcing an offer for all moms to use our platform. Anyone who wants to sign up, we are offering a flat 50% off, because we really want to help moms at least start using these platforms to express themselves, to talk about their journeys, etc., and we go from there depending on. So I request you all, to share across this video, reach out to many more moms, and keep attending this Vidphone show in collaboration with Mothers United Movement.
I just want to say something else as well. I've never requested this for any mother,
Yeah.
but both Priya's as initiative, YouTube. Priya, can you just put it in the chat?
Yes.
Put your YouTube channel on the chat. Priya's definitely YouTube channel must be rotated with all the reels that we're sharing. So she's doing a fabulous job of working
Yes.
very hard with children and taking the viewership high. We need positive news all the time.
Certainly.
And
Certainly.
Nami, please put yours as well, because we generally don't do that, but I want to do it for you guys because
Yes.
I feel a lot for children. Actually, the reality is feel more for children than I feel more for mothers. I don't know why I still waited for. I'm a baby photographer. I'm a child photographer. I've worked with children all my life, so I've always felt for them, and for their sake, I feel for the source, so that the source can take care of them. So that's the real reason why I did Mothers United Movement for children. Not so both of you are working in this space, and I think we must rotate their initiatives and contacts
Certainly.
as well. And
Certainly.
we'll copy paste it from here, Ayushri, and
Yes, we will. We will.
let them.
We have all the details anyway, under captured. So
Priya,
we'll.
put the YouTube channel link
Yeah, I'll
also.
give the details.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
Yes,
so that she can copy it, Ayushri, and
we'll pass it
please,
around, and
Ami, you also put for we need a lot of help with sound therapy. I feel it's a very unique way of approaching
yes,
children and helping them
yes,
post COVID, especially. I think we need these two kinds of initiatives to
yeah.
help children cope up. So thank you. While you share it, and I think Ayushri copies it and keeps
Yes.
it. Yeah. So we will
Thank you
be, yeah, we will take it from there. Love you both, and Ayushri for
so
sure.
much.
I will meet you in person one day. Not
Yes,
meet you
we
yet.
will surely in
And
2024 we'll make sure we
yeah,
meet.
yeah, we'll do a in person. That's
Yes,
in our list of doing one in person thing. We'll get the moms
yes,
together on in person event as well. Yeah.
yes,
All
yes.
right. Take care, guys. Bye
Thank you
bye.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you
We
so
have
much. Thank you,
great
Shikha. Thank
evening,
you.
everyone, and thank you, Priya and Shikha. Bye.
Thank you.